This is the second part of my yarn crawls in Portugal, where I'll bring you along with me visiting some yarn stores in Porto. And in this video, I'm not going to show you only yarn stores. You're gonna see. Good morning from Porto. Excited to be visiting some yarn store in this city today. Yesterday we just went out to have dinner, then tucked into bed. We saw so many beautiful shops and I already saw one of the yarn stops we are gonna make today. So super excited. The window outside was stunning. I can't wait to be there. I was really looking forward to starting my day up and early with touching some yarns, but unfortunately both shops I visited were fechado, closed. And one of them wasn't even there anymore. Unsuccessful journey to the yarn stores, as we visited two and both are closed because apparently it's a national holiday today. Well, I didn't know about that, and I am very lucky to be in Porto tomorrow too. So I think today we are gonna enjoy some artisanal shops and some handmade items and some cats. I felt that Porto was a young and vibrant city with lots of unique handmade items shops, such as Mercado 48. This is a shop with a relaxed atmosphere and lots of truly original and creative products, many of them handcrafted. Just strolling around the city, we found lots of handmade market and events. And we found O Galeria, which I had on my map for a long time. It is a shop and project focused on illustration, drawing, books, zines and author piece. I would have spent hours browsing inside the store. Since 2009, it is showing the best example of illustration from all around the world, and they select mostly young and promising illustrators and always work with living artists, which is a concept I resonate with a lot. I'm so glad I get to support living artists, and I wholeheartedly agree with this graffito. New day, and now we try to go to the yarn stores because they should be open today. I really hope they did not take Thursday off and had like a long weekend, but and gladly they did not, because I'm so happy I did not miss any of these. The first yarn store I visited is Ovelha Negra. It's a shop in the heart of Porto, opened its doors in 2009, and it's dedicated to the sale of yarn, needle and all the need for knitting, crochet and other crafts. They also organize workshops and provides private knitting lessons. This is the first time in my life that I see some knitting for Olive IRL and I absolutely love their color shades, and they are doing a great work with swatching all their samples with Kim silk, and it's gorgeous, and the website is a joy to look at, so yeah. This is their brand of yarn and it's made in Ireland. You can see they have their logo over here, and this is such a nice shade of green. It looks lovely and it's worth it too. This one too, there's their logo. Again, gorgeous shades and colors. And I do believe this one, yeah, this one as well. They select items in order to guarantee the quality and purpose of the garments, and they always give preference to natural fibers and preferably from certified origins. I love this quote from their website that says, "We try to have yarn from very different areas of the globe, feeling that this technique is transversal to so many different cultures, which are united to the sound of the tick-tick-tick of our needles." I love it. The first time I see this, these are the Zubperlen by Schoppel, and I've also saw this in bigger malls with lots of different colors, but this is like a kind of array of mini skeins with different colors, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I love that there are some mixed shades in them, and like this is literally my color palette. I absolutely love this skein. It has this gorgeous green color that seems hand spinned because of the way it's plied. Absolutely wonderful. They also have these gorgeous samples in their shop. Oh my god, love this thing. I'm loving stripes lately. Maybe I should do something with stripes. This one is so cool because it has different textures. Such a wonderful place with a lovely selection of yarns, some of which I have never saw before. I got a little something, and I think it's gonna be my last purchase of this trip, but I still have a few shops to visit. You'll forgive me for butchering all the pronunciations, but the second spot we went to is Lopo Xavier. You can find all the spots I visited in the Google Maps I've linked in the description, where there are written names instead of my horrible Portuguese attempt. Anyway, this shop was founded in 1934 and is dedicated to selling haberdashery, yarn and fabric. The name of the store is actually the name of the founder. They have a very interesting story behind their own labeled yarns, because the wool they sold initially came from the Shetland Island in Scotland, and this had to be replaced by domestically produced wool due to the import restrictions during World War II. So they had to ensure that the raw material and manufacturing had the same quality, and these yarns have become iconic for the Lopo Xavier brand, both for their quality but also for having endured for half a century with the same labels designed when they were created. She was telling me they are having classes in the background, and today's class is all about weaving. I absolutely love the label for this alpaca yarn, and it's incredibly soft. Super, super soft. Look at this green, gorgeous. I just had an incredibly lovely conversation with the person at Javier. Sorry for my bad pronunciation, but they were absolutely lovely. And we talked about local yarns and struggles and necessities of the yarn industry. And they said a lot of Portuguese people don't want to buy Portuguese yarn, which is absolutely the same in Italy. Italian people don't want to buy Italian yarns. We often buy German yarns that are made in Italy. And she was saying, oh, we have the same problem too. Like she showed me some yarn with labels that were from Spain, but the label said made in Italy. Anyway, she was absolutely lovely, and one of the best thing was she recommended to us. She was saying, if you're enjoying yarn, you can go to Ovelha Negra, which is the store we were this morning, and then she recommended Bordado, which is embroidery store. So we're gonna head there, and it was just so nice to speak with somebody. And they have their own brand of yarn, which is made here in Portuguese from Portuguese ships. And I just think that's super important. I'm glad I got to choose some Portuguese yarn in this holiday, and I will always try to, when I travel to a place, to find a yarn that on the label says made in that specific place, and that I think that's a common point in my yarn crawls. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It was lovely. I asked for the right pronunciation, and it's actually lo xavier, which sounds French. Don't ask me why, but that's what they said. And I hope I am reporting it correctly. But all right, I literally butchered the name in most of the video. I'm sorry for that. Please refer to the description where you will always find the link to the Google Maps with all the places. Casa Real Bordados is not actually a yarn store, but the kind people at Lopo Xavier suggested we stopped here, and it's a hand embroidery shop that offers a collection of items, each hand embroidered in Portugal into the Sousa Valley with exclusive designs and motifs. I found the handicraft was incredible and all the items were really well made. Look at this lovely fishbone stitch on the tail. Stunning. Oh my god. This is incredible. Look at this. You know it's all handmade when the backside looks like this. Every single stitch has been made by a person. What a gorgeous, lovely little shop. I am glad they suggested it to us, so we were able to find it, because it's kind of in a back road, not easy to see. Everything was hand embroidered in there, and most of the things were made of linen, which is the best fabric to embroider, and most of the, I'm gonna call them art pieces, so the bigger pieces, were quite pricey, which I totally understand, and I stand for that. And there were some more souvenirs, like little brooches and necklaces and hats and stuff like that, that was a little bit less complicated and so less pricey. But overall, the handcraft was I was really happy with the shop I visited, and for them to being in the colorful and vibrant streets of Porto made it all the better. But I still had one more shop to go to. I wasn't expecting this store to surprise me as much. Founded in 1860, the centuries-old Casa dos Linhos is located in Porto, very near to the Bolhao market, being one of the oldest and most traditional embroidery, lace and linen establishments in the city. Based on the Portuguese culture and tradition of manually working linen, sheets, towel and other textiles, Casa dos Linhos is dedicated to prominent Portuguese handicraft with a special focus on regional needlework and embroidery. I loved their display pieces and the great selection of threads. Wild. This is the first time I see some Addi needles outside of Germany, but I know these ones are specifically well liked between sock knitters. They have just this little cable in the middle where they can bend, and then they have two small needles on the sides. Lots of acrylic over here and lots of notion and haberdashery inside this store. Honestly gorgeous. Very interesting. I've never seen this kind of rosarios in the other shops, and this seems specifically made for needlepoint, even though it's 100% wool, and it's just... I love these colors. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is the color palette for Rosarios Cuatro Arrayolos. I hope I'm saying it correctly. And they made this stunning needlepoint work with this. And just look at all these greens. I absolutely love these shades. And they have so many. It's incredible. It's absolutely stunning. All these greens, I love them. And of course, since they sell all the yarn to make this huge tapestry and rugs, they also sell the fabric for you to use. So they have this very big weaved Aida fabric that you can use to make this wonderful, stunning work of needlepoint. These are some samples made in crochet. And here we have a wall of Mati yarns, which is another Portuguese brand actually. I've encountered this during my yarn crawl in Lisbon, but there they only had the cotton in two different thicknesses. Here they have one more type of yarn, which is again cotton, but it's like it's plied differently. they are having a class in a nearby room, and it's just ever so lovely to see yarn stores and fabric stores that also carry forward the amazing handcrafts works and share the passion and share the love and teach in their spaces. I absolutely love it, and it's so great to see. I honestly think this little corner is so special. Like, it's specifically for needlepoint and tapestry work like such. All the yarns are displayed for this, and they have also the fabric for this. And it's so wonderful to have a space dedicated to this craft that you don't see as often. Nowadays, yarn stores are mostly for knitter and crochet and sometimes embroidery, and that's fine, but wow, stunning. The strolling around the city has finished, but don't go yet. I still have to show you what I brought home with me. Hello there! We are back home. If you watched my video from Lisbon, you already know I visited Portugal for a week. I went to Lisbon first and I filmed a yarn crawl there, so if you want, you can go and check it out. And this one from Porto was a little bit crazy because the day I wanted to film the yarn crawl, all the yarn spots were closed, so I just scrapped the idea and went to visit some other stores. And Porto was incredibly kind to me. I found so many hidden gems and lovely spots. And I got some things, so I'm gonna start my haul from those. I went to Mercado 48, which is a lovely shop that carries stuff from different artists. They have more than 100 artists with their creation in their shop, and I got all my postcard that I sent to friends there, and this one is the one I got for me. So it has the instruction for a vegetarian ramen, but actually if you avoid the egg, it is vegan. So and it is a postcard. The artist name is Paulina Piech. paulinaeatsandrose.etsy.com, and it's just a lovely illustration. They also had posters of this one, but I got the postcard sized one. And then I went to Galeria. This has been a spot I had in my list for quite some time. I won't say I went to Porto just for this one, but let's say it it was one of the reasons. Galeria is a wonderful art shops that has only living artists, and they have original as well as prints. They also host an exhibit that changes every few months. And they just had so much gorgeous art. They had this wonderful gallery wall that, of course, I loved since I'm a big fan of gallery walls. And I just wanted to visit them and get some get some prints and stuff from there. And let's see. I got this amazing print of a pencil drawing of what I believe is Japan. The artist is Clement Toby, which is a French artist, and I didn't know. I just absolutely love their art style, and I absolutely love the color, the nature, the way it is depicted. I love it. I needed it. I got it. And the second print I got, still from a French artist, which is Agathe Meunier, and is this lovely riso print of a landscape. And this one too reminds me of my travel. So 2 years ago I've been to Scotland. It's just a lovely riso print, and it's they are both signed, but this one is in a limited quantity too. So this is number 54 out of 75. It's just a little bit more special, you know? And that was it. I just got like a magnet as a souvenir in Porto, and but I did not get anything else. I got the postcard and I sent them, so I cannot show them to you. But that was it as for my shopping. And as for yarn stores, I did not want to buy any more yarn. I've been in Lisbon and I bought everything I needed there, everything I had plans for. But I visited Ovelha Negra, which is one of the gorgeous yarn stores I went at, and inside there were these lovely rosarios for Piopardo, which is 100% wool spinned in this lovely green and dark green and yellow color. And as you might know, I love green and yellow, and this cane just screamed, "Look at me, touch me, feel me, buy me." And so I got two because recently I've been, when I find a nice skein of yarn in my yarn crawls and travels, I sometimes get one skein of yarn and then I'm back home and I'm like, what will I do with one skein of yarn? And I decided that buying two, it's a little bit friendlier in my head to myself and to the future choices I will make with these yarns. So I have no idea what I will make with this. Any suggestions? Appreciated. Thank you. But it's lovely. It's much softer than I thought it would be. And Rosarios is another Portuguese brand. And I was specifically looking for Portuguese brand and Portuguese yarns during my stay in Portugal. I think if I had more plans for sweaters, I would have loved to get some wool from Xavier. I will just butcher the pronunciation every time, but the shop was lovely. The store assistant was great. We had such a great chat. And they too had some yarn with their brand on it. And there was a green and a terracotta color that was really calling to me, but I had no pattern in mind and I already had spent some money in Lisbon, so I did not get it. But if I ever go to Porto again, I'm thinking of that terracotta. I'm thinking about it. So yeah, the next time I'll maybe go more prepared and with a pattern in mind for that specific yarn. But yeah, that was it. So small something, but big something in my heart. And I just love to buy yarn at yarn stores around the world because it's sort of a souvenir, but that also carries memories of the travel with it. It's lovely. And if you are choosing to buy yarn from that specific country, you are also supporting the business of that country. So it just means more. And also just buying yarn in specific yarn stores means supporting brick and mortar businesses. So that's always a good choice. Anyway, if you have not seen yet, you can go watch my Lisbon yarn crawl. You can also watch all the other yarn crawls I've made. I have a specific playlist for them. And I also made Google Maps for the yarn stores I visited, so you can just check that out and see all the yarn stores I visited and have them with you if you were to visit Portugal. I also made a favorite spot list on my Patreon, as well as a photo diary / journal. So if you want, you can join my community and check those out. I also post an exclusive video a month and digital downloads, and my mail club is on there. So yeah, we just have lots of fun. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you want, I have many more about fiber arts on my channel. And I really hope you stick around. Thank you so much and see you in the next video. Bye!